what was your work ethic like towards the YouTube channel?
Intense. Like I fell in love. I fell head over heels in love with it so quickly. I can't even remember what it was like again before it. I just remember that as soon as I made my first video and as soon as it got like 2 views, I was addicted.
What's up, guys? Xavier Brinkman here with you on the How'd You Do It podcast. We're at Cast Studios in Hollywood, and I'm with a really special guest who I've wanted to get on this show since we started. He goes by the name of Connor Franta. How are you, mate?
What's up? If only we had an audience to like, yeah.
I know, to clap, right? And if you're wondering what the hell I am wearing right now,
no one was wondering.
Yeah, Connor's running a marathon on the weekend, and the least we could do is show our support by dressing accordingly. I'm on Team Connor, of course.
I fully appreciate it.
Yeah, we're gonna do more on that a little bit later. But mate, well, speaking of this marathon, you've been training for it for literally as long as I've known you.
I'm still like stuck on the idea that you're wearing this. It's quite funny. He's wearing the short shorts and everything.
Yeah,
like it's full commitment.
It gets real.
Yeah.
So for our listeners out there, I've got a tank top that says Team Connor. We got the short shorts. We got the Chuck Taylors. We got the high like tube socks. The headband.
Although you would never run in Converse.
No.
Let's put that out there.
Yeah,
you would.
That was more for the look.
Yeah. No, it works. But yeah, do not suggest it.
No.
Ouch.
Yeah.
This isn't Sandlot.
Exactly. This isn't the 80s. Yeah. But mate, tell me, as I said, you've been training for this about as long as I've known you now.
It's been a long. We can swear, correct?
Oh yeah.
Me just making sure.
This is rock and roll.
It's been a long ass time, folks.
Yeah.
What even qualifies a swear word nowadays? Just ass. Can you say ass on TV?
Yeah, I think so.
Ass.
Yeah.
Ass. Yeah, I've been training for a really long time. I signed up for the marathon. It's been like 4 months or so, and before that I was already running, so it feels like I've just been running for so long, both physically and mentally, and I'm just ready to get it out of the way. Frankly, it's like I'm ready. I know I can do it. I need to do it at this point.
You're running like 20 miles a day. I mean, like not a day, but you're getting up to that. That's insane. What is it? 40 how many miles is it, the marathon?
So it's 26.2
right.
miles, which would be
42 kilometers. That's what I'm getting mixed up with.
Yeah, no, and I always forget that. And but yeah, it's hard. It's funny. What I've realized over the training too is how much like people don't know about marathon. They're like, oh, that's so exciting. I hope you have fun. I'm like, no, it takes a long time. It takes like a minimum of 3 months to properly train for a marathon, and you have to build up to anywhere between 20 to 22 miles before it, which means you just need to run so much.
Just Forrest Gumping it.
It is, yeah. It's not a big time commitment as people think, because during the week you run anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour or so, like just on an average day, which isn't that much. I mean, that's half a Netflix episode.
Right.
Yeah, but when you get to those long runs, running almost 3 hours by yourself, it's exhausting. And it's quite a mental commitment.
And you don't. First of all, you told me you don't stop, and you also don't listen to music.
That's the other thing I didn't. Yeah, people assume that like they're like, take breaks. I'm like, no, that's not the point of this. There's no breaks involved. You run the whole time and you try and finish properly. Yeah, and I don't listen to music. I kind of like to be it's almost like a meditative experience in a way, and I like to be very present when I'm running. And I feel like the music distracts me quite a bit. Yeah, I've always done that. I've never tried music, so maybe it is better, but I've never tried it.
What's the most common thing your mind wanders to when you've got long thinking?
I solve the world's largest crises when I'm running, and then I forget it all by the time I'm done. But like I go through like different global issues, and I'm like, how could we fix? Like I'm always trying to think of something that can distract me in a way. As much as I want to be present, I also want to be distracted. Sure. When I used to swim for 2 hours a day. It sounds so nerdy, but I would practice Spanish because I took Spanish in high school, so I would speak Spanish to myself.
You're a productive dude.
It distracts you. You need something that it's almost like you need calculus in front of you to really work at something.
I don't know if anyone needs calculus in front of them, but I get what you're saying. So
it's a metaphor.
You just seem like a very disciplined kind of endurance guy, then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is that always
my whole family is? We my mom's run like 20 plus marathons in her life, and my dad's run probably half that. Maybe, I don't know. He's run a bit. And then my sister's already run like 6 or 7, and she ran her first one like 3 or 4 years ago. Jeez. So and my brother's running a 50-mile race in the next like month.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so me running a marathon is no large feat in my family. They're just like, oh, finally.
Go have some fun.
Yeah, truly.
That's cute.
Yeah.
He's like, what, 26 miles? Like, oh, it's cute.
It really will be that. It'll be like, oh, good job. Okay, moving on to the next one. When are you going again?
Yeah, right. And well, so I was about to ask you what what the motivation was behind doing this marathon, but I guess it sounds like the family thing, or is there more to it?
No, I mean, like I've always been, as much as I'm really athletic, I've always been a little bit of the oddball out. And then I was like, I don't ever need to do a marathon to prove that I'm athletic. I always felt a little bit different in that sense. But there was like a point I reached this year, well, not to get deep, but there was a point I reached this year where I just truly had no idea what I was doing. And I needed something that felt long term, and I needed to commit to something that I could do. Again, I could just like commit to in the moment, and I knew it would be something that I would have to deal with for months on end. And I was already running, and I was like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to run a marathon. Like, why not? It was the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know why. And I knew that it was going to be within the next 4 to 5 months. So I was like, well, this is something I can work at every single day, something I know I can accomplish, something I will feel accomplished doing. And then I did it. And
now it's this weekend.
I know, now it's this weekend. So yeah, it was like a moment of like really of vulnerability and confusion. And I just did it.
Are you the type of person where having something like that in your life just helps with other facets of your life?
It does. I'm quite like type A. I'm a Virgo. I'm a Virgo, and I'm quite type A in that sense that I need kind of a schedule, and I need to be committed to something. The times that I feel the most lost are when I have really nothing going on, which is very normal for people, but I feel like chaotic when there's not a schedule.
You're also a guy that's probably used to a lot going on.
That as well. So anytime
when it levels down to a normal level for normal people, you're like, this feels uncomfortable.
It's very.
I'm gonna run a marathon
Yeah.
amongst everything else, and running a YouTube channel or everything else that I do, and trips to Kenya and all that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's weird. And then yeah, it worked its way. I worked my way through it, and then I added kind of a charity component to it and everything. Ooh, great voice crack. Everything along the way, and it just kind of, it worked its way out, as most things in life do.
Right. And was this, so it seems like, from what I've noticed, you're doing a lot of different things. Like, you're taking trips all over the place. You were just in Kenya, like last week or a couple of weeks ago now.
Yeah, it's been,
Yeah, you're doing a lot. And it seems like, you're stepping not away from YouTube, but it's becoming less and less like the main focus for you.
Yeah.
Is it a conscious thing, or is it just sort of happen? You're just sort of rolling with it, doing what makes you feel good?
Yeah, I mean, there were all those articles that came out within the past, 4 months about like, what is it, YouTuber burnout or whatever. There was like a title that they all had. It was like YouTuber burnout. And I was like, oh, sweetie, I've been there for a long time. This is no new phenomena. I talk about this with my friends all the time, that it's just in a creative field, in a creative field in 2018, the thing that I find most difficult is that people want more when that's never been a thing before. Like, not to compare any sort of arts to like anyone like a Keith Haring or an Andy Warhol, but people were never pressuring them to make more and more and more every single day.
Right.
So to see nowadays that people every single day are like, oh, that was a great piece of content that took you, days, months, whatever to make another one right now.
Yep.
It's exhausting. And I don't know, I think at one point, I think it was inevitable that people would be burned out. But as someone who's been on the platform for 8 years, it's just been something I've tried to work around in the last 2 or 3 of the years that I've been on the platform. It's not that I don't want to do YouTube or that I'm trying to not do YouTube. It's more that I'm trying to do things that make me feel fulfilled.
Sure.
And being on the platform for that long, it's kind of inevitable that I'll go through peaks and valleys with it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Like being the host of a podcast that specifically talks to YouTube, is that something, talking about the YouTube burnout or the YouTube handcuffs, as I like to call it. Speaking to Alicia Marie a little while ago at VidCon, said the same thing. She took inspiration from the Dolan twins, who were going through the same thing, and then speaking to Ricky Dillon about it, and even JC Kalen, that
it's just it's quite a demanding job. I mean,
sure.
as most jobs are, and most creative jobs are that way. That of course, if someone likes something that you make, they want more of it. It's obvious, but at the same time, because we're more connected than ever before, it's almost like people have given a megaphone to everyone, so you hear it more.
Yeah.
And maybe it's always been there, but now it just seems to be everywhere.
Exactly. I guess my question is for you. So, Alicia Marie, just going off her for an example, she's been doing it for about as long as you, or maybe a bit longer even. And it's like, what I'm noticing is the consistent thing is that they're getting to a point where they're going, okay, like I can afford to take a month off. I can do this. But before they were really scared. They're like, I don't want to become irrelevant. I don't want the algorithm to go against me. I'm still building. It feels like all these whippersnappers and all these kids on the come up don't feel comfortable. And then all of a sudden they get to a point where they go, you know what? It's okay. I've worked hard enough and I can take a month off. Do you remember when that period was for you that you felt you could just ease back
Can
a
we
little
just
bit?
reference that you used the word whippersnapper in 2018?
Whippersnapper, is that?
Whippersnapper. It sounds like something a grandpa would say.
Right.
Or not even like a real grandpa, like a fictional grandpa.
As I said it, I'm like, oh, God. I was like, is that an Aussie thing? I don't
all these whippersnappers.
My life, man.
No,
my
you're
life.
good. What was the question?
Yeah,
I was trying to explain.
irrelevant. No, I was just gonna say.
Oh, at what point did I realize
When
I
did
could
you
take
feel
breaks?
comfortable to take a break?
Yeah, totally. It's been, I still struggle with that because again, as we just referenced, my personality type is that I hate taking breaks, and although I may deserve them at certain points, as everyone does, it feels a little bit wrong. And I think that's also an attribute to an Americanized society. Even just like my parents, they work so hard and they allow themselves like one vacation a year. And I'm like, people in Europe don't do that. They go on holidays, I feel like, every weekend.
Yeah. So for example, Australia is generally 6 weeks off a year.
Yeah. And like they allow that in America, but I feel like people feel oddly guilty for it for some reason. I don't know what it is, but there's like a strong work ethic, as well as we have like a really strong lazy society. So I don't know where it goes.
It is weird. I mean, I feel like in LA especially, like there's this notion that you will be replaced. Like if you take a week off, you'll be replaced.
In a way you really could be, and that's, I think it's a very valid fear to have. I've just always told myself, whether it's true or not, that if you're meant to do something and you're truly good at something, you will succeed in it in some way or form. So if you take a week off, it's not going to make you irrelevant. That just means that you were replaceable. But if you're truly good at what you're doing, you're not replaceable. So you shouldn't have that fear. You should believe in yourself enough to know that you won't be replaced that quickly.
Yeah.
And everyone needs breaks, again, too. Like, you think about, to relate YouTube to kind of the entertainment industry in general, or to the film industry, actors take breaks all the time. They do a movie, they take a month off. They do 2 movies, they take a month off. It happens. So whereas YouTube, I do not know how people daily vlog, because I don't know how to get my mind around every
or even
moment.
Twice a week. Like when I interviewed the Try Guys on Friday. They're like, yeah, we get like Wednesday and Sunday. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's
so much content in there. I mean, I guess granted there's 4 of you, but wow.
Yeah, and it's also like I always step back to it and I'm like, oh my God, what a privilege to be able to complain about this. Yeah. It's truly, it's something, I like love to talk about, but I hate to talk about because of that reason, because it is easy to explain, or it's difficult to explain, but it's also like I roll my eyes at myself every time I try to explain it, because again, total privilege to be in this position.
Totally. And I did a deep dive into your YouTube channel last night.
Ew, don't, please.
Right back to the days with the not a bowl cut, but kind of like there was some volume there.
Hey now, bullying is a crime. I will not have this.
I mean, don't worry, I had the same one at that age. I'm just trying to, you had a lot of hair. That's what I'm getting at here.
We preferred to call it flow,
right.
In the Midwest.
In volume.
Yeah, lots of volume.
And I noticed that, the content's obviously changed a lot as you've matured, and going from looking at back then to now. You were always very woke, I guess, for lack of a better term. Like you were always very.
I think I've always just been nice, in a way.
Yeah,
I
nice,
come from a very wholesome family.
Also just hyper aware as well. Like a lot of people, especially YouTubers and stuff, because it really is centered. Not to say YouTubers are narcissistic, but the ideal is the ideal is that you're creating content about yourself every day. You know what I mean? Whereas you've from the start to finish, you've always maintained doing that in a bit, also being very hyper aware of yourself at the same time. And anyway, I guess my point is that the more current content you're putting out is is a lot more about just being conscious of, like social media, what's most important, all that, like all these, like, I mean, it's very inspiring. Like I really enjoy, I watch your videos every week.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Yeah, of course. Was it, do you remember a moment or a period of your life where you sort of realized that you wanted to change your content, you wanted to put a better message out to the world?
I mean, it's kind of, like you said, it's oddly always been there. It's always been kind of a thread that's been laced into my content. I mean, like I can remember videos I've made that were like 6 years ago that it was always this like feeling of positivity, or I always wanted to end the video with some sort of wrap up message that everyone could take home and like use in their week ahead, since it was always like a weekly channel. But more so probably within the last like 2 years or so, I've just realized that that like everything matters and nothing does at the same time. And I really want to use this platform I've been given and the success that I already have for good, I guess. I mean, like I've already gotten quite a bit out of my career, and I feel like there are so many other people that need things in the world. And again, like this whole idea of like I don't know, there's this whole, it's quite a difficult thing to grapple with, because you can fall down this like dark hole of being like, oh my god, nothing, like no matter what I do, I'm never gonna reach a certain point, or no matter what I do, I'm like rambling. It's quite a hard thing. It's quite a hard thing to grasp. I've realized that the world is bigger than me, and there are so many people in it that need help, and there are so many issues that need solving, and I'm so lucky to have a platform that reaches so many people that can maybe do that. Even if it's one person that I can throw a message at and they get something out of it and they do something with that. I think that matters more than me getting a video that has 1 million views. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I could easily do what some content creators do nowadays and get millions of views again if I really wanted to.
Yep.
I just don't want to anymore.
At what cost?
I know. I know how that'll make me feel, and I know that I won't get anything out of that at this point.
Sure.
That took about 2 minutes to say that,
Oh,
and I still don't even think I wrapped it up. It's such a different. I love the group of friends that I have now, because we talk about this kind of stuff all the time, about like no matter where you're at in life, again, like what does that mean, or like what can you do to do better, or what can you do to change the world in your own little way. I guess.
And I guess you, as you said, like use your platform for the right reasons, and you just,
no matter how big or small it is.
You're blessed that you do have a significant platform too, and it's refreshing to see you do great things and put out a good message.
Totally.
One other thing I've always noticed about you is that you are incredibly open and relatable online, but at the same time very mysterious as well. I don't know if
I think it is my Virgo-ness.
I don't know if that's a weird thing to say, but it's like I feel like watching your videos and seeing what you post every day, like I'm like, oh great, and I can, said you've always got something to say. It's always very relatable, but at the same time, I'm like, you're almost a mysterious figure, and we work together, it's, how do you think and I don't know if you've gotten that before, but how do you think you've achieved to be a public figure, but also be very private at the same time?
I know. I don't know at what point I started doing this, but yeah, I know. I feel the same way. Like I set a certain guidelines of like what I will and won't share, or when I will and won't post things, and I've always stuck to it. And I don't know where those came from, but I've had them for as long as I can remember. I hate posting things like I almost would never post something right now of where we are in this moment, because I'd rather be present in the moment and post it later if I feel like it. And I also like get really creeped out that people can know where I am in this very moment.
Sure.
That always has freaked me out too. Yeah, I don't know. It's more so now than ever before. It's just about being present. Yep. And I think that's what a lot of people grapple with nowadays, is being truly in the moment and being truly present, and not being everywhere else or doing a million other things in their head while they're doing the thing that they're doing at the current moment. So that's kind of why I do what I do, I guess. But I guess that comes across as mysterious, even though it's not intended to be.
It's just your style, right?
Yeah, I was like, I never don't post something because I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna like keep people guessing. I want to keep them on their toes. I never do. I never think that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been told that by a couple people. I'm like, really? You think I'm mysterious?
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. And you've obviously, I mean, this started with a YouTube empire, and I'm gonna go with empire. Why not?
I'll take it.
And you've turned it into. I mean, you just turned 26 recently, and you've turned it into like the common culture brand. You've put out 2 best-selling books, and then you've also started being you're also a partner in Herdwell, the company, in full transparency, guys, the company that I work for and the company that we're doing this podcast right now. And it's a sick little brand, and it's awesome. How did, I guess like what my question is, I mean, you started off with the YouTube channel. How did it progress and like naturally progress into these other things?
Yeah, again, it was something that I think people think it takes a lot of thought, but for me, it's always just been that natural progression. Yeah, a gradual, natural progression. Nothing. I try to not force anything. And like while I was doing YouTube, I was going to school for business, and I dropped out, so I didn't finish college. Stay in school, kids. But I dropped out. But I had studied business for 2 years, so once my platform had grown to a certain extent, and then like business opportunities came to me, I was like, oh, I've studied this for 2 years. This makes total sense. You have a brand, you diversify your brand. You create companies around interests that you have, so it's genuine. You don't just like make random. I don't open up like a
real estate.
Yeah, I was like, I'm trying to think of something that's completely adjacent to me, but I was like a flower shop, and I'm like, wait, I would love a flower shop. It's like that is an adjacent.
Crush a flower
that
shop.
would be so good, and you can combine it with a coffee shop, and then it's an experience.
Can't
Boom.
stop this kid.
How fun would that be? Yeah, so it's always just been a natural progression, and like and something like Herdwell, like I had always worked, the other two partners are Jeremy and Andrew, and I had always worked with Andrew since I moved to LA, so I've always known him. And we met Jeremy through another business partner that I was working with. He was his son, and it all just happened. Mm-hmm. It wasn't something that was forced. It wasn't something that we were like, how can we capitalize on this? Like there was no evil intentions. It just truly happened. And the music industry has always been something I've been interested in, but I've never participated in. And this seemed like a cool way to participate in ways that I was familiar with. Again, like bringing up younger up-and-coming musicians or listening to cool music and combining that with social influencers in a way. Sure. It just seemed totally appropriate.
And something pretty unique, really, you know?
Yeah, and at the time, I don't even think... We realized that it wasn't something that had ever been done, but we didn't realize, like, truly how unique it was.
Yeah, it took me a little bit to grasp what the concept, you know?
Yeah, or the possibilities of the concept,
yeah.
Because it's more than just that. It can be so many other things, as we've figured out, as what we're doing right now.
Podcast, right?
It never intended to be anything like this, but yet here we are.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And you were talking about this before about doing 2 years and then dropping out, staying in school, kids.
Please.
What was that pivotal moment, or what was that moment where you were like, hang on a second, I could do YouTube full time?
Yeah, I moved to California with Ricky Dillon and JC Kalen, what up? And we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with the two of us, and then also Key and Lolly for like a couple months. So it was 4 people in a 1-bedroom apartment. Not legal. Not great either, because there's no space.
You guys were in a 1-bedroom.
I know. Well, yeah, because we also like didn't have money, and we had no idea what we were doing here. So we moved here. We drove. I flew to Ricky in Alabama, and we drove, and we moved in a 1-bedroom apartment all together. And all of our channels were doing well, but they weren't like anything massive. But over that summer, all of our channels blew up in a way that like they just doubled in size. So we all like collectively decided we should stay. We should stay in LA, and we should pursue everything that we're doing exactly like we're doing it, because it's clearly working. And I had to call my mom and present her this idea, because my parents were helping, again, privileged. My parents were helping me through college. They were helping me pay for college. So I didn't want to just drop out and be like, peace out. No, yeah. I wanted to get their well wishes. And I wanted to explain to them why I thought this was an amazing, very unique opportunity. And after like weeks of convincing, they said, take a semester off, try it out. If it doesn't work, go back. And I said, yes, that's I don't dislike school. I would love to do that.
Yep.
And then after a semester, I think maybe like 500,000 went to $1 million. And then like a year after that, it was like $1 million went to 3 million. Then a year after that, it was like 3 million went to 5 million or whatever.
Wow.
It really like just
and
doubled.
Was this in the, like, had you guys formed O2L, or was this still?
That was, yep. We were all in O2L,
right.
And we were all doing our own channels, and we all just like collectively everything, the O2L channel and our individual channels just all blew up. And
wow.
I don't know if that was because we were together
Probably.
or because we were in LA or what, but really our content didn't change. We didn't necessarily do anything different. It just all happened at that moment.
Collaborated. What was your first impression of the guys? Like who did you meet first? And what did you think?
I mean, well, so we had like people. I guess people do this nowadays, but it was like the genesis of internet connections. Like I met them all through Twitter. I met all of my like good friends that I even have now through Twitter, and we were just like messaging. It's kind of creepy in a way. It was exactly what people told you not to do.
It felt so right.
But no, it did. And it really did, because it was people doing a similar thing. They had similar goals. They all stayed up till like 3 a.m. working on videos for no reason. Half of us, like, there was no incentive to do
Just
it.
enjoyed it.
There wasn't even a partner program or anything. We truly were just doing it because we were addicted for no reason. And we were all very like-minded. So yeah, it was the first time I'd ever felt like I'd found people like myself, the O2L guys, but also just the entire YouTube community in general. It was like, wow, people like me exist out there. This is so cool.
Wow.
And YouTube, like, since I'm like one of the OGs, quote unquote, since I've been doing this for almost a decade, no one in my personal life even knew what YouTube was, frankly.
Right.
So they not only did they not know what YouTube was, but they had no idea what it was to be a YouTuber. Like, it was just such a new concept that to explain to someone, or to explain to like a 12-year-old nowadays, they would have no idea, because YouTube has been a part of their entire life. So it's quite a radical idea.
For sure. And, you know, I had, I've interviewed JC a couple times. I had him on the podcast in this studio about 2 weeks ago, actually.
Guy.
Yeah, legend.
Sweetest.
And then I had Ricky Dillon on a couple of weeks
Also
ago.
the sweetest.
Yeah. and I haven't met Kian, but like I get a pretty good idea of what he's like. You
What
guys
does that
have obviously.
mean? I get a pretty good idea.
Pretty good idea.
He's
What he's like.
Again, also the sweetest. We couldn't have had like a better group of people,
You
a more
also-
genuine group of people.
Totally. But I mean, I guess because I know you now, I just like, I don't know. I can't imagine you guys all living in a 1-bedroom apartment for some
No,
reason.
it was chaos. It was horrible. It was like JC's dog was running around like shitting on everything, and like people were like, food was molding on the counter. It was like a frat house.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was also like I had never experienced that before, so it was also like the best and the worst. You know what I mean? It was
So
totally
it was like
brand
an
new.
original like Team 10 thing almost. Like
Well,
you guys
you
just
said it,
swooped
not
in.
me.
just swooped in. It's
If
like
I had tea, I would sip it.
a YouTube incubator.
Yeah, an unproblematic Team 10.
Moving on.
Yeah. Yeah,
What was
it's so interesting. It's wild. It's like I can't even. Yeah, it's weird to even think about it.
Yeah,
It's come this far, and it's just a decade. It feels like it's been a year, but also a lifetime at the same time.
Yeah, and you're also young. I mean, like Kian only turned 23 like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, which is
Like,
also weird.
that's
But at the same time flies. I watched someone's video the other day, and they were like, just the other day I was 17. And I was like, fuck, I feel that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel that. I'm 26 now, and I truly feel like just the other day I was 17. It's really, like, time really flies quickly.
I turned 30 last month, and I moved here to do an internship when I was 22 from Melbourne. Like, what happened?
and that's partially why I'm doing a lot of the more random things I'm doing nowadays. Why I'm like working with different organizations like Glisten, going to Kenya with We Day, and going to the goalkeepers event with the Bill Gates Foundation. It's just because like things move so quickly, and I don't know where I'm going to be, or I don't know what's going to happen. And I know that these opportunities do mean something and could make lasting change right now. And so, like, why wouldn't I take part in that?
It sounds like you're pretty good at just doing what feels right. I mean, you didn't really know why you were making videos and spending so much time on it. You had no idea. You didn't know what a brand deal was then, you know.
I had no idea.
Exactly.
When I heard that people could make money on YouTube, I more just like heard that people could have, but like this was before people could have custom channels. Like they couldn't upload a channel banner unless you were part of the partner program. So like me and Ricky and everyone were like, we just want to be partners because we want channel banners. Yeah. We just want to like be able to customize our channel. But before that, it was just like they had like templates that you had to pick through.
Right.
And I was like, I just want a custom.
That's
pretty. Like I've always cared about the aesthetics. It's always been a part of me.
Wow.
That's all I wanted.
If that never popped up, and you'd stayed in college, what profession do you think you would have done if you didn't get into?
If I never even like made a YouTube YouTube video.
Maybe YouTube never got invented.
Dude, I don't know, because it's tough, because this like creativeness has always been in me, but it didn't come out until I started secretly making YouTube videos in my bedroom. I never I think I realized the other day that I think it was internalized homophobia, that I assumed being creative would be allowing someone else to see that I was gay. Right. And I only realized that very recently, that I think that my reservedness and my my lack of interest in creativity. I had all my friends were like theater nerds. I don't know why I never did theater. I had a total desire to do it. Yep. But I think at the time I thought if I did things like that, stereotypically people would pin me as gay. So I was just like, I'm just going to fit the mold of what a typical Midwestern athletic teen is supposed to do.
Everyone just wants to fit in.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't want to draw attention.
Totally. And yeah, it's weird because now I have all this attention on me, which is not at all what I wanted. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's funny. If that had never existed, I feel like I would be like living a very mundane life. I don't even know what it would be because I don't know if that creativity would have ever come out.
Sure.
And I thank God for that creativity. I thank God that I'm gay every single day because it's made me a more well-rounded, developed person. If I didn't have those, I feel like I would be some sort of bland shell of a person.
Right.
So I really don't know what I'd be.
Yeah, who never found their form of expression.
Totally, right. Yeah. And I think it's made me who I am. So I'm so thankful for that. If none of that existed, I'd probably just be working some sort of like business desk job, which is fine. But I know a lot of people who are working business desk jobs, they don't love it. Nope. They don't think it's that great.
No, it
doesn't seem that fulfilling for a lot of people. But
I feel like you probably would have carved something out, but it would have taken
like
it would have taken a while.
It would have taken a mental breakdown at Target Corp, and I'd be like, I'm just gonna go create a YouTube channel.
I'm gonna go paint.
I'd become like a 30-year-old like dad vlogger, not 30-year-old, 50-year-old dad vlogger.
Hey.
Sorry. I meant 50. I was thinking the number 50, and I said 30.
Because I just said it.
Yeah,
let's go with that. You're off the hook.
No, it's 100%. Hey, I'm 26. I'm only 4 years away from 30. It's very close.
True. And all right. So the name of this podcast is How'd You Do It, right? When you were talking about making videos and in those early hustle years before the channel was anything, what was your work ethic like towards the YouTube channel?
Intense. Like I fell in love. I fell head over heels in love with it so quickly. I can't even remember what it was like again before it. I just remember that as soon as I made my first video and as soon as it got like 2 views, I was addicted. I thought the whole process of creating videos was amazing. I thought it was insane what I could do just in a night when I finished my homework and was like, I just want to make a video. I've never edited before, but I'm going to try. It was like a totally new experience. So my work ethic was high purely because it was fueled by passion.
Right.
I was so intrigued and so passionate about making videos that I would make like 5 a week.
Yeah.
Like truly like daily vlogging about nothing, just practicing, I guess. And then once I kind of started figuring out exactly what I was making or like a type of vlog or type of video that I was making, it still remained consistent for years and years. We were making, like on my own channel, I was making at least a video a week. I had a second channel that I was vlogging on. We had the O2L channel that we were making at least a video a week, but also like being conscious of the creativity that channel took at the time because it was kind of a new idea. So it was a lot. And it really, like, it took a lot out of me after like I was able to kind of step back, but it was also just like amazing. I've never felt like that alive than like those specific years because I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I was doing something so cool.
Yeah. And what do you think? I mean, granted that there wasn't, it was the early days, there wasn't that many, but there still would have been a lot of people doing what you were doing. Why do you think you cut through the noise?
I really don't know. I mean, as much as there were a lot of people, there weren't. Like, to even like to boil it down, like some of the videos that I made at the time were the first of like their genre type. Like I was around when like challenges were created, like that idea of just someone putting like a challenge in a title. Like I for all I know, I even helped like create that genre. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But what was the question?
Why do you think you, Connor Franta, cut through the noise?
I don't know. I think I do think it was a situation of like right place, right time for sure. I don't know how people would do it nowadays. I think it was just like the genuine passion and genuine interest and desire to create as much content as I could. But I truly don't know because I never had a viral video. Like I never had a 10 million viewed video that made me all of a sudden get like 100,000 subscribers overnight.
It was just chipping away.
It was very gradual. Yeah. It was like once I had 1,000, then like it was like 2,000, then 4. It truly just kept kind of doubling slowly. But the first 2 or 3 years, it was like radio silence.
Wow.
But I loved it. I thought it was great because again, I didn't even know that success was possible. It was
Yeah.
more just like, this is such a
Cool. And I guess when it did
place.
start picking up, you would have had a whole back catalog for people to sort of go through and get involved with.
Totally. And they're so privated right now.
Oh man, I want to see more of that.
No.
So, well, speaking, I mean, we're in 2018 now. YouTube is well and truly
Almost
on
2019.
Yeah, almost
Whoa.
2019. Oh my god, it's the 1st of October today.
Happy spooky
That's
ookie,
crazy.
ookie month, everybody.
Man, Halloween freaks me out. It's like
What? It's the best.
I mean, it's great, but it's like for me, it's like it's October.
Oh yeah.
And then like there's already decorations up in every store. You're like, god damn, like how is it October already?
It's so
I have mixed feelings. All right, so back in the day, you were sort of pushing the needle, turning the dial, whatever reference you want to give to it, and doing new things. Who are you following at the moment in the YouTube space that you think is doing the same thing in this era in 2018?
God, it's so tough because I mean at this point, what I actually love is there was a moment there where like a year ago where it was kind of all about daily content, and it wasn't about quality, it was about quantity. But I feel like with the Shane Dawson series that's becoming so successful, and even with people like Casey Neistat, who's still doing relatively daily-ish content but adding like production value to it, I think we're getting to a point where quality is finally coming back and quantity is not the most important thing. So I don't know. I do think people like Shane Dawson making a real, like, stepping back, making content that people didn't necessarily ask for, but he's filling kind of a void. I think that's very important. Again, I think people like Casey Neistat making daily content but making it a different way are very important. I think people like Elle Mills who make still that kind of internet humor with like an 80s twist to it. Like an 80s rom-com high school movie twist to it. Her soundtracks are great. But again, the production value and like every video kind of has a purpose. I think that kind of content is going to shine, and I hope it shines brighter than ever before in 2019, frankly.
For sure. We have a lot of aspiring YouTubers and creators that listen to this podcast. What advice would you have for them, for people starting out?
It's tough. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, if I can give advice from personal experience, it's just follow whatever it is that you're passionate about, and don't necessarily assume that that's going to be where you're going to end up. Because at the beginning, I just knew that I liked what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was figuring out as I went. I wasn't afraid to mess up because, frankly, everything was kind of messing up. Everything was brand new, so there was so much margin for error. So don't be afraid to mess up. It's the most important part of any creative process because it just leads you to success, frankly.
Right.
I think that's the best advice I can give.
Nailed it. And speaking of fans, I have a couple of fan questions that got sent in.
Love this. We had 4 submissions from young whippersnappers.
I did pick out 4. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Hi Con, so I was just wondering if there are any artists that you've been enjoying recently, but you think they aren't getting the public recognition that they deserve, and I'll go check them out. Okay, love you.
Ray Morris.
All right.
Oh, actually, I do love Ryan Beatty's new album. People are not talking about it. Have you listened?
No.
It's fantastic. It's called Boy in Jeans, and he's had, I can't even name how many songs I like it, but the lead track is called Haircut, and it's great.
Okay.
It's kind of this like vintage Frank Ocean-y vibes a little bit. It's very synthy. The lyrics are great. Like, it's very lyric focused. I can tell it's not mindless pop, which I'm a little bit over. I like lyrics, frankly. And then that's about as all. That's about all I got.
I think you might have already answered this one, but here, let me.
Hi Connor, my name's Eric, and I have 2 questions for you to choose from. One, what artist or genre of music has caught your attention again after receding into the background for some time? 2, what music plays a role in motivating you with your marathon training? Make it a great day. Peace.
Oh, shame. Yeah, because I don't even listen to it. But I mean, yes, we answered the first part of that question. Yep. The second part, I mean, I listen to music before I go running. Usually it's some form of a song I listen to a lot before I do my like long runs. It's the it's on the Deadpool soundtrack. Let me quickly find it.
Hey, Connor.
Oh, it's Welcome to the Party, Diplo, and
yeah.
It's like I need something like ridiculously intense to get me just like
pumped.
I'm doing something crazy. I need to go head first into
I'm
it.
pumped. Now I'm going to take this out and run in absolute silence for 3 hours.
Yeah, well, and also like calmly. Like I can't go out the door sprinting.
Right, true. You got it's a marathon, not a sprint.
So, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, next one.
Hey Connor, this is Kevin. I was wondering how you handle feeling like overwhelmed.
Good question,
Not
Kevin.
well, Kevin.
Next
Don't
question.
bring it up, Kevin. Rule number 1 about overwhelmed club, Kevin. How do I deal with it? I mean, frankly, I run. I think that really help. Running really helps clear my mind. Or I go for a walk. Or I call my family a lot. Like I talk to a family member, I think, every single day, and that really kind of grounds me. Even if we don't talk about me being overwhelmed, it still grounds me to just talk about mundane shit with my family. Yeah. No, I mean, even if it's my mom just talking about like the fact that she did laundry that day. I don't know. There's something about it that really kind of grounds me.
For sure.
And and I think that helps a lot. So walks, talking to friends or family.
Sure.
Etc.
Good advice. All right, last one.
Hey Connor, it's Becky here. I just wanted to ask you how Kenya was. I love you.
Oh, hey Becky. I didn't even say hi everybody. Kenya was amazing. It was a really, really lovely experience. I didn't necessarily know what I was doing when I was going there. Like we had like a brief idea of what it was going to be, but I just knew that it could be 100% volunteering for a week, or it could be light volunteering for a week. I had no idea like how physical we were going to get involved, but it was a great way to see what we was doing in local villages. They'd built elementary schools, colleges. They built like the first college in that part of Kenya that had the first class ever was just 20 girls, and they were all so deeply inspiring. One wanted to be like a neurosurgeon, one wanted to be a defense lawyer. Like they all had very specific career paths they wanted to do, and they were pursuing it with so much passion and they wouldn't have been able to do that without we's involvement there.
Sure.
We also like built a hospital in the area, and the hospital over the past 8 years has treated 72,000 patients that again wouldn't have necessarily been treated if that hospital wasn't built. So it was just really amazing to see that work that was being done in a division of we that I had never really taken part in, because I'd spoken at the we days, but I'd never taken part in that part of it. But then also just the people of Kenya were so nice and so welcoming, and everyone was truly, I just felt embraced into their families and into the culture. Everywhere we went, people would wave at us. It didn't matter if it was like a little kid or an adult male. Everyone would just wave and smile and say jambo, which means hello in Swahili. And I like wish that was a part of Western culture, that people were more just kind, I guess, to strangers, because I felt like even if I didn't know someone, they were so kind to me. So I took that away, and it was like we had these great conversations with everyone else that attended, because it was like us and a group of like maybe like 10 people. We had these great recaps of the day every single night where we were all just like crying, being like, I wish like this was a part of my life again, just like that kindness or that interaction with strangers. So yeah, it was really, really wonderful, and I took a lot away from that trip.
Nice. Well, speaking of philanthropy, my last question is, you're doing this marathon for a reason.
Hell yeah!
Where can people go to donate to that cause?
Donate to that cause. By the point that this is up, I think. Yeah, well, it's tough. So I'm uploading a video, and I'm working with YouTube, who has by the time this is up, there's going to be a donate link next to my YouTube video, which hasn't really been done. Excuse me. So it's going to be directly on my YouTube channel, but also I think I'm going to create a redirect from glisten.org/Connor.
Okay.
Glisten, that's GLSEN.
Just Google Connor Franta Glisten, guys.
Just check my Twitter. It'll probably be a pinned tweet. But a cool thing is we've already, from collective businesses, we've already gotten like, it's like $170,000 in donations.
Oh, wow. Wait.
From businesses.
Sorry, did you just say 170,000?
I know.
What was the goal?
Well, I mean, last year we raised $250,000. The year before that we raised $250,000.
Jeez.
So
You're just
it's
getting right
always
up there.
it's always around that. And
Wow.
I mean, yeah, if you're listening, if you can donate $1, that's amazing. But if you could also donate $1 for every mile I'm about to run,
Yep.
that would be amazing. $26 would be so nice.
Yeah. I think people can take the easy way out, seeing as you're doing the whole running thing for them, you know?
And 4 months of training. It's
Yeah.
been just a long process. But yeah, so we're doing that, and all that money, 100% of the proceeds. Sometimes these organizations, they'll be like, you're using a website that takes 10, 20, 30%. YouTube isn't doing that. It's 100% of the proceeds go directly to creating safe, affirming learning environments for LGBT youth in America.
Wow.
So yeah, please go donate. It'd
Hell
be great.
yeah, you heard the man. Well, look, I better let you go.
Yeah,
but we
can
do,
chill.
we got a little secret coming up next. You guys will have to watch, which will be a separate channel, separate YouTube video, which you'll be able to see. But for right now, I want to say a huge thank you to the man Connor Franta for coming in and joining us on the How'd You Do It podcast.
Thank you so
My name is
much.
Xavier Brinkman. We are at the Cast Studios in Hollywood. We're right here with Herdwell, and we'll catch you next week.
Later.
Cheers.